we are moments away from the verdict in the Malegaon case. Remember, nearly 17 years after the deadly explosions in Malegaon, a special NIA court is set to deliver the verdict that could reshape India's political and legal landscape. All eyes are on the special NIA court. Lieutenant Colonel Shrikant Purohit, Sadhvi Pragya's legal team, they're all there in court. This very case, remember viewers, has had multiple implications. The term saffron terror was floated after this case. This is a case that dates back to 29th of September 2008 when a bomb strapped to a motorcycle detonated at Bhiku Chowk in Maharashtra's Malegaon. 6 people were killed. Over 100 people were injured. This happened during the month of Ramzan back then. Under the UPA government, the initial investigation was handled by the Maharashtra ATS. Number of questions were asked with regards to the ATS's investigation. The biggest question being, was evidence planted? Then, in the year 2011, this very case was transferred to the NIA. So, in moments from now, the special NIA court will be giving its judgment in the case. My colleagues Bhavtosh and Nilesh are joining us. Nilesh is on the ground. Bhavtosh has tracked this case from the very start. Bhavtosh, a case that has seen so many turns, so many twists. The biggest one being how witnesses, multiple of them turned hostile. The statements made by Colonel Purohit, Lieutenant Colonel Shrikant Purohit, the torture claims by Sadhvi Pragya, and also how the political narrative around this case and the undertones that it has had for years and years. So today when the judgment is expected, what is likely? What are you expecting? Take us through more backdrop of this very case.
Sagrika, as you rightly said, that this case was first investigated by the Maharashtra ATS. The Maharashtra ATS arrested Sadhvi Pragya, former MP, and also arrested then Colonel Purohit. They in fact booked them under Makoka and also under the anti-terror law. But due to several inconsistencies as far as this case is concerned, the NIA was given the charge of this case in March 2011 itself. At that point of time, UPA was still in power. And it was in March 2016 that NIA dropped the charges of Makoka, which is Organized Crime Act. And when that happened, NIA in fact said that because the statement were taken under duress, they were in fact taken under a lot of coercion. The charges that have been already filed against Sadhvi Pragya and Colonel Purohit, those should be dropped. But the court said that there is enough evidence against Sadhvi Pragya and also against Colonel Purohit that the trial should be held as far as this case is concerned. And the number of witnesses in this case, around 100 of the witnesses, they in fact retracted from the statement. But it is the entire politics and narrative behind this case that one has to understand. It's a very long trial that lasted for 17 years. The entire coinage of words like saffron terror and how Abhinav Bharat was in fact set up, which according to the Maharashtra ATS in fact decided to target Muslim settlements only because at that point of time Indian Mujahideen were carrying out several attacks. Remember in 2008 you had attacks, serial attacks that were taking place in Ahmedabad, also in Jaipur and Delhi, and they claimed that Malegaon was targeted by Abhinav Bharat, which was according to them, according to Maharashtra ATS, they wanted to target a Muslim settlement only because Indian Mujahideen was carrying out these attacks. Now it was very hard to believe that something like this could have happened, but they filed the charge sheet in January 2009, and then it is the only case in which 2 charge sheets have been filed. One by Maharashtra ATS, another one by NIA. Prosecution in fact took cognizance of both the charge sheet while the trial went on for 17 years.
Yes. Stay with us, Bhavtosh, because our colleague Nilesh is also with us. Nilesh, hectic activity around you. You are at the court. All eyes are on the judgment. What are you tracking? What are you hearing? Has the hearing begun? Also Lieutenant Colonel Shrikant Purohit gave a loaded message before he entered. He said this entire case was fabricated. I have always served the country. I will continue to do so. Also, Sadhvi Pragya's lawyer also spoke to our teams there. He also said that today we are expecting that truth will prevail. What is happening around you? Take us through all the details, Nilesh.
Well, yes, absolutely. This is a big day for entire state of Maharashtra, and as you pointed out, that it will further shape the landscape of entire political diaspora as well. Currently, I'm reporting from the very exact spot wherein on to the evening of 29th of September 2008, the entire incident unfolded. That is the Bipu Chowk, and behind me you can see activity of police officials currently being done. Heavy police deployment as well as right control officials have reached out to the Bipu Chowk area premises. This is a precautionary measure being taken as we are expecting the court verdict anytime soon. All of the said accused have reached into the special NIA court, and soon the trial or the verdict.
Interjecting you, Nilesh, to give our viewers updates on what's happening in the courtroom. So the judge has reached. All the accused are currently in the courtroom. We are expecting the judgment to be read out in moments from now. For now, the latest update is that all the accused are in the courtroom. The judge has also reached. Our guest will also be joining us in moments from now. But Nilesh, as you're giving us the updates, you're standing right there where 17 years ago this blast rocked the Bipu Chowk in over there. And also tell us more about the turning points in the case as well.
Well, yes, absolutely. This is the exact spot, Bipu Chowk, and this is the exact location wherein the vehicle, the bike was parked, and which ultimately went off. The alleged IED went off at around 9:30 p.m. and it was a crowded place, a market, busy market, wherein the entire incident unfolded, resulting into a death of 6 civilians, injuring of hundreds. However, there have been various doubts that have been raised during the due process of the investigation, which revealed that how ATS had somewhat labeled charges against individuals which did not suit to the case as well. Now, as Bhavtesh was also presenting, that after NIA took over the case in 2011, the Makoka case or the charges were withdrawn by the NIA, and other IPC sections and UAPA were into...
Yes, Nilesh, once again interjecting you to get us latest updates from the courtroom where the accused are present. Judge is mentioning the history of the case currently. So this is the latest update that we're getting you, minute by minute updates. Our guests are also joining us. So the judge currently is mentioning the history of the case. He's about to pronounce the verdict. The proceedings are going to begin. So that's the latest breaking news update. Nilesh reporting from Malegaon, where you can see there is heavy police deployment. The latest update coming in from the court is that in moments from now, the verdict will be pronounced. The proceedings have started. The judge is mentioning the history of the case. Meanwhile, we also have Sadhvi Pragya's lawyer, Advocate JP Mishra, who has said that truth will prevail. Our guests are also with us. We have Rahul Ishwar joining us, PK Jain, former IPS officer, Ravi Srivastava, political analyst, Aniket Nikam, a lawyer joining us, introducing all our guests. But before that, listen into how Sadhvi Pragya's legal team, her lawyer, says that today they are hopeful that truth will prevail.
हम विजयी होंगे, ऐसा हमारा विश्वास है. सत्य की जीत होगी, असत्य की हार होगी. हम विजयी होंगे. हम विजयी होंगे, ऐसा हमारा विश्वास है. सत्य की जीत होगी, असत्य की हार होगी. हम विजयी होंगे.
Rahul Ishwar, PK Jain and Ravi Srivastava, good morning and thank you for joining us on this breaking news broadcast. Currently, the hearing has begun in the court. The judgment is expected in moments from now. Rahul Ishwar, my first question to you. Do you think, like Sadhvi Pragya's legal team is saying or her lawyer is saying, Satya ki jeet hogi, do you think truth will prevail today?
We cannot preempt any kind of verdict from the court. We have to wait for the court. Let me start by offering my pranams to those 6 people who were dead and nearly 100 people who were injured. This is a case which has seen a lot of twists and turns. Even NIA has been, we had seen many nuance changes from having a different stand on 2016 and reversing their stand later. We don't know what is the truth, but one thing is very sure, whichever verdict comes, I would urge both parties to respect that verdict. You know, let us not give into any conspiracy theories. Let us not demean our courts. Let us not say that this is all because of politics and all. there is courts are to be respected, and a very respectable judge, who is right now overseeing this Sri A.K. Lahoti is there. So we should respect that particular judgment, and we should, every person, including our minority brothers, should respect the judgment, and whatever court says in wisdom, after detailing, going through, should be respected and accepted. And there should not be, just like Babri Masjid verdict, we have seen a very balanced and very good judgment from the honorable courts, because Indian courts have always maintained that at a very good sensitivity and inclusiveness.
Yes.
So I hope
Mr.
everyone
Ishwar, I'll have to interject you, and gentlemen, this is a breaking news broadcast. We're getting constant updates from the court, and I'll have to stop you, when I have to give out the update. So the latest coming in from the court is that the judge is talking about the history of the case. The judge is Justice A.K. Lahoti. He is currently talking about the history of the case. He's talking about the 4 investigation agencies who were involved in the probe over the last 17 years. He also goes on to talk about the evidence that has been collected, the explosives that were seized, the charge sheets that were filed, and also who were examined. PK Jain, former IPS officer, you are also with us. You've also tracked this case closely. We've seen, conflicting probes and the findings by both the ATS and the NIA. There was a time when it was alleged that the evidence in the case possibly was planted. Over the last 17 years, there have been multiple twists, turns and politics around the Malegaon case. Today, what are your expectations?
Sagrika, good morning. I would not like to take any guesses in this case. The way the verdicts are coming these days, one would like to reserve one's opinion about the kind and content of the judgment. But coming to the various theories which were planted or which actually came out during the investigation, I can only cite the case of 2006 blast, where we had charge sheeted a particular set of people accused, and subsequently under the government's pressure, all the charge sheeted accused were discharged, and a new set of accused were brought in. So as I said, I would not like to take any guesses. I would wait for the court verdict.
Yes,
and then
and Mr. PK Jain, once again, getting our viewers up to speed with the latest update that's coming in from the courtroom again. So right now it is being said that the prosecution successfully proved there was a blast, but failed to show bomb was planted on the motorcycle. So that's the latest coming in from the court. We also have political analyst Ravi Srivastav and Aniket Nikam with us. Aniket, good morning. The proceedings have begun in the court. The latest that's coming in, there was no evidence. Okay, this is very important breaking news updates, viewers. We're getting constant updates here in our newsrooms. Let's tell, in some medical certificates there is manipulation. The judge is currently talking about the case, and he says in some medical certificates there has been manipulation. No evidence of storage of RDX in Colonel Purohit's house. So this is being mentioned in the court right now. No evidence that he assembled the bomb. No evidence of who parked the motorcycle. There is another update that's coming in. We are back. We're getting you these updates constantly. The judge is saying in some medical certificates there has been manipulation. No evidence of storage of RDX in Colonel Purohit's house. No evidence that he assembled the bomb. No evidence of who parked the motorcycle. So a very important bit being mentioned in the court. Aniket, when you go through these developments coming in from the courtroom, what are you, how do you analyze? Where do you think this case is now going?
It seems the court is hinting, and probably the court will spell out the verdict, the entire verdict in some time. But it seems that the court is hinting that though the blast has taken place, but the investigation agency has utterly failed. The ATS, who had investigated the case way back in 2008 and 9, to collate the evidence and to show that these were the people who are responsible for having committed this offense. The fact that the special court has said that there is no evidence of storage of RDX in the house of Colonel Purohit, there is no evidence of who parked the motorcycle, there is no evidence that the motorcycle was actually used in the blast. This itself completely disproves the case that was tied
gentlemen,
against
coming
these
in with another interjection. So Aniket, I apologize for Aniket, I apologize because we are constantly getting updates. Here the judge has said in the court right now, the latest update is that the IO didn't make any sketch map on the spot. No empty shells were seized. No fingerprints, dump data and DNA was collected. There was contamination. Result can't be 100% accurate. Very important mentioning there by the judge. The judge, once again, viewers who are joining us on this broadcast, in moments from now, the judgment in the Malegaon case is expected. The judge in the courtroom right now has said two very important things. Point number one, in some medical certificates, there was manipulation. There was no evidence of storage of RDX in Lieutenant Colonel Shrikant Purohit's house. There was no evidence that he assembled the bomb. There was no evidence of who parked the motorcycle. Then the judge now goes on to say that the IO did not make any sketch map on the very spot. There were no empty shells that were seized, no fingerprints, and also the fact that no DNA and dump data was collected. Another breaking news update coming in. And gentlemen, I want you to stay with us as we break down the details, minute by minute updates, getting you here on Times Now. The same vehicle, but the chassis number was wiped out and never restored. No cogent and reliable evidence that Sadhvi Pragya owned the vehicle. She became a sannyasi and had renounced the material. Okay, big update coming in from the court. There was no evidence to prove that Sadhvi Pragya was in possession of the vehicle. So the first charge by the ATS, on the basis of which they arrested Sadhvi Pragya, was the fact that the motorcycle used in the blast belonged to her. The registration was in her name. And now today, the court goes on to say, huge update coming in from the court, that there was no evidence to prove that Sadhvi Pragya was in possession of the vehicle. And conspiracy meetings charge. On the conspiracy meetings charge, the judge is saying that there is no cogent evidence to prove as well conspiracy, or such meetings cannot be proven. Ravi Srivastav, updates coming in from the court. Right now, the judge has said that there is no evidence to prove Sadhvi Pragya was in possession of the vehicle. What is your first remark when you listen to these updates that are coming in from the courtroom?
Sagarika, first of all, we must respect whatever the observations are, but these are still the observations. These are not the judgment. These are not the orders. The fact is that the blast did happen. The people died. The injured were there. So whether they were involved or not involved, I think it's all in the realm of speculation as of now. Let the order come finally, and let us know the details of the whole thing, that how this whole thing happened and who was responsible for this. Because one thing is certain, that all the accused, all the people against whom the allegations are made, they belong to a particular religion. This is what is visible in the both the charge sheets. Okay. So this is where the term that saffron terror and all such things came up. Now let us see that how far it is proved and how the judgment is awarded. I'll get Rahul Ishwar to respond to that. We also have Aniket Nikam with us. We also have PK Jain, who is also tracking the latest developments. But viewers, we're going to Mumbai, where, there is a lot of hectic activity taking place. All eyes are on that special NIA court. Latest update coming in from the court is that no UAPA can be invoked. Big update coming in. The judge has said this in court right now, that unauthorized interception of data happened by a probe agency. Both prosecution sanctions of the order are defective, and that no UAPA can be, invoked. Which direction is this going into? This is the latest coming in. No evidence to prove that Sadhvi Pragya was in possession of the vehicle, on the basis of which she was arrested. She claimed torture and absolutely inhuman torture. You remember that press conference that she had done, in which she had broken down. Now let me go across to our colleagues in Mumbai and also in Malegaon. Rucha is with us from Mumbai. Nilesh is joining us from Malegaon. Back-to-back developments coming in from the court. Rucha, take us through the latest. I'll get Rucha once again. Nilesh is with us. Coming back to Rahul Ishwar, who continues to join us. You heard what Ravi Srivastav said, but just by going through the updates that are coming in from the court, the very important update being the observation made on Lieutenant Colonel Purohit, the fact that no RDX was found in his house, and on Sadhvi Pragya, the fact that there is no evidence to prove that Sadhvi Pragya was in possession of this vehicle. So this is the latest coming in from the court. How do you respond to what Ravi Srivastav has said, Rahul Ishwar?
No, I would urge all the parties to respect the court's verdict. These are some of the important observations that are coming. Maybe in a few minutes we will know the whole aspect of the judgment, what is the nuance in it. And if there is any person who is aggrieved by this, who is against this, they should take a legal recourse and not fall into any kind of other kind of angles and demeaning the honorable court. He's a very respected, especially Justice is a very respected person. And please remember, even the people who died, their families wanted this particular judge to pronounce a verdict. When he was being transferred, the lawyer representing the families or people who were representing their interests said that we want this judge itself. So let us understand the important seniority and stature of this judge, and let us take these words
another
very
update
seriously.
coming in from the court today when it comes to the charges against Abhinav Bharat. Once again, gentlemen, I have to apologize and I have to constantly give updates to our viewers that we are tracking. On the charges against Abhinav Bharat, it was said that in the Malegaon case, Abhinav Bharat had planned and executed the entire blast, which led to the killing of 6 people and left more than 100 people injured. On that, it is being said that Colonel Purohit and Ajay Rahilkar were part of the organization. There are monetary transactions that can be seen. Colonel Purohit used the money for personal use. Can't be established if the money was used for terrorist activities. Going back to Aniket Nikam. Aniket, this is, how do you think what are you expecting? Do you think the way the updates are coming in from the court, the direction in which we are seeing, the judges also said that there is no sufficient evidence to prove conviction. Benefit of doubt to all accused. More suspicion cannot lead to conviction. So another big update coming in, Aniket, from the court, that the judge is saying there is no sufficient evidence to prove conviction, and there is a benefit of doubt that must be given to all accused. Mere suspicion cannot lead to conviction. Aniket.
Well, that's the cardinal principle of criminal jurisprudence, that culpability of an accused has to be established beyond shadow of doubt. No matter how strong the suspicion may be, it cannot take the place of proof. Therefore, it's a well-settled law, and that is what the Honorable Court has been saying, that though there has been suspicious
big update, breaking news update, first here on Times Now. All accused have been acquitted in the Malegaon case. Huge breaking news update coming in, viewers. There has been no cogent evidence, and all accused, 17 years later, all accused in the Malegaon case have been acquitted by the special NIA court. So, today it can be said that the saffron terror bogey stands completely demolished. From the court, all have been acquitted of UAP and all other charges. A case that went on for 17 years. A case that saw the coinage of the term Hindu terror, saffron terror. For years and years, there were allegations made against a serving army officer back then. Sadhvi Pragya claimed she was tortured brutally. And now, big update from the NIA, Special NIA Court in Mumbai. All accused have been acquitted. A case that will have massive ramifications. Only yesterday in the Parliament, the Home Minister thundered that he is confident that no Hindu can be a terrorist. So the saffron terror bogey, 17 years after this case was used to peddle that narrative, today all accused in the Malegaon case have been acquitted. All accused, including Sadhvi Pragya, Lieutenant Colonel Shrikant Purohit, they stand acquitted. Before going into the court, you remember what Lieutenant Colonel Shrikant Purohit said? He said that this is a fabricated case. I've always served my country and I will continue serving my country. Sadhvi Pragya's legal team said the truth will triumph, and today, 17 years later, the saffron terror lie stands busted because all accused, all 7 have been acquitted in the case. 17 years later, who will bring back these 17 years? A case that was concocted on the basis of fake evidence, as been mentioned by court. Mere suspicion cannot lead to conviction. There is no reliable cogent evidence. The judge has said there was no evidence to prove conviction. For now, all accused have been acquitted. My colleague Pranesh is joining us from the newsroom. 17 years later, Pranesh, I beg your pardon, Pranesh is with us. 17 years later, Malegaon case. All accused acquitted. The saffron terror bogey today stands completely demolished.
Viewers, this is an important moment in what has been a long fight Just 2 months before the 26/11 terror attack, there was a blast in Malegaon and it set off a chain of activities. Politicians belonging to the Congress party, mainstream politicians at that, some of the big names of the Indian political circles, including Mr. Digvijay Singh, the likes of Mr. P. Chidambaram, were at the forefront of pushing what was known, or what they coined, was saffron terror, Hindu terror. After long years of trials and tribulations, finally the moment of truth is here. The special court, Judge Lahoti, has acquitted all accused. This was a case where a conspiracy was hatched to validate the whims and fancies of some of the Congress leaders. Many in the Congress party believed that let's do our best to prove that this theory is right. We have Sadhvi Pragya's sister Upma Singh joining us. नमस्कार, टाइम्स नाउ से बात करने के लिए धन्यवाद। कैसे देखती हैं इस फैसले को?
मैं और मेरा पूरा परिवार, हम सब बहुत प्रसन्न हैं और ठाकुर जी की हमारे ऊपर कृपा रही कि हमें जिस षड्यंत्र में फंसाया गया था उससे ठाकुर जी ने हमें बाहर निकाल दिया है। मैं पूरे देश को, पूरे हिंदुत्व को, पूरे सनातन को बधाई देना चाहती हूँ और आप सभी की प्रार्थनाओं के प्रभाव से ये सब हुआ है, तो मैं सबको बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद देती हूँ और हमेशा ठाकुर जी हम सबके ऊपर ऐसी ही कृपा रखें। हम सनातनी हैं, हम कभी इस तरह की चीजों में लिप्त नहीं हो सकते हैं, ये ठाकुर जी ने आज साबित कर दिया।
मैं आपसे ये जानना चाहता हूं कि इतने सालों तक लोग ये कहते रहे कि सैफरन टेरर है, भगवा आतंकवाद है, हिंदू टेरर है, और अब फाइनली कोर्ट ने कह दिया है कि ऐसा कुछ नहीं है।
ये सच है और ये सनातन पर हमेशा से बुरी प्रवृत्ति के लोग हमला करते रहे हैं, आज भी कर रहे हैं, पर देखिए ना ईश्वर की कृपा कि उन्होंने कभी भी सनातन को, भगवा को बदनाम नहीं होने दिया। जिन्होंने प्रयास किया उनके प्रयास विफल हुए और हम विजयी हुए।
सिंह जी, आप उन लोगों को क्या कहना चाहती हैं जो सालों तक साध्वी प्रज्ञा को एक आतंकवादी कहते रहे? उसमें राहुल गांधी भी हैं जो लीडर ऑफ ऑपोजिशन है, कांग्रेस के बड़े नेता हैं।
राहुल गांधी को तो मैं किसी श्रेणी में नहीं रखती क्योंकि बौद्धिक स्तर उनका बहुत ही खराब है, पर हाँ, जो लोग प्रबुद्ध कहे जाते हैं देश में, उन्होंने भी और बहुत सारे नेता, कांग्रेस के नेता और बुरी मानसिकता के लोग जिन्होंने उनके ऊपर आरोप लगाया और उनको मानसिक रूप से हमेशा उनको प्रताड़ित करते रहे, उन सभी को मैं कहना चाहती हूँ कि ईश्वर आपको सद्बुद्धि दे, आप हमेशा सत्य को देखें और भगवान पर भरोसा रखें। कभी भी सनातनी आतंकवादी नहीं हो सकते हैं, ये आज भगवान ने तय किया है, ठाकुर जी ने इसका फैसला किया है।
उपमा सिंह जी, 2008 का ये केस है और उसके बाद जो हुआ, नए नए ट्विस्ट और टर्न आते गए इस केस में, गवाह पलट गए, जो फर्जी दस्तावेज कोर्ट के सामने रखे गए थे उसमें गलतियां निकाली कोर्ट ने, लेकिन उसके बाद बॉम्बे हाई कोर्ट ने यह कह दिया कि प्रमा फेशी कोई केस नहीं है साध्वी प्रज्ञा पे, लेकिन उसके बाद भी लोग उनके पीछे पड़े रहे। क्या आप सोचती हैं कि एक वेल थॉट आउट कंस्पिरेसी थी?
हम लोग कह रहे थे प्रारंभ से ही, जिस दिन उनको अरेस्ट करके ले गए थे और इलीगल उनको 14 दिनों तक अंदर रख के जिस तरह का टॉर्चर किया कि आज तक वो शारीरिक स्थिति में अच्छे से नहीं चल पा रही हैं, ना स्वस्थ रह पा रही हैं, उनकी जिस तरह से प्रताड़ना की गई, शारीरिक प्रताड़ना, महिला होने के बावजूद भी सबसे ज्यादा उन्होंने ही सही, और इस सब के बावजूद भी लोगों का जो मानसिक प्रताड़ना देना था उसमें भी उनको बहुत टॉर्चर किया गया, लेकिन वो सन्यासी हैं और वो हमेशा सत्य के साथ रहती हैं, इसलिए
उपमा सिंह जी,
आया
आपसे मैं ये जानना चाहता हूं और मैं आपसे रिक्वेस्ट करता हूं, आपके लिए थोड़ा कठिन होगा उसको दोहराना, लेकिन ये देश के लिए जरूरी है कि ये सामने आए। इतने सालों तक जो प्रताड़ना हुई, जो फिजिकल मेंटल एगनी हुई, आप सबसे पहले तो जो फिजिकल टॉर्चर हुआ साध्वी प्रज्ञा पे, उस पे बताइए। आपने कहा कि 11 दिनों तक तो उनको डाल दिया गया था, कुछ पता भी नहीं था, फैमिली को भी नहीं बताया गया, उस सालों तक
14
जेल में
दिनों
रखा
तक
गया,
इलीगल
चार्जशीट नहीं हुई। लेकिन आप शुरू से बताइए।
मैं बता रही हूँ आपको कि 14 दिनों तक इलीगल उनको रखा गया, ठीक है। उसके बाद में दुनिया की कोई ऐसी प्रताड़ना नहीं थी जो उनको दी नहीं गई। अंग्रेजों के समय में भी जितनी प्रताड़ना नहीं दी गई ना कैदियों को, उनको बिना कैदी बनाए ही इतनी प्रताड़ना दी गई कि आज तक वो स्वस्थ नहीं हो पाई। हर दिन प्रतिदिन सुबह उठने से लेकर रात तक उनको कितनी समस्याएं आती हैं शरीर में, ये सब उसी टॉर्चर का परिणाम है। और उस टॉर्चर के साथ में उनकी इस स्थिति को देखकर परिवार वाले, उनके फैंस, उनके शुभचिंतक, जितने टॉर्चर होते हैं मानसिक रूप से, उसका तो कोई मुआवजा भी नहीं दे सकता, उसकी कोई परिकल्पना नहीं कर सकता है। सबसे बड़ी बात यह है कि आपने कोई बिना सबूत, बिना गवाह, बिना किसी भी तरह की कस्टडी लिए हुए, और आपने सीधा सीधा उनको वो कर दिया, टॉर्चर कर दिया। मतलब ये था तो षड्यंत्र, और ये हम लोग शुरू से कह रहे थे कि ये षड्यंत्र है, लेकिन तब तक लोग मानते नहीं हैं जब तक कोई चीज साबित नहीं हो जाती। और इन्हीं 17 वर्षों में जो मानसिक प्रताड़ना, जो शारीरिक प्रताड़ना सही उन्होंने।
जी, उपमा सिंह जी हमारे साथ बने रहिए। एक और रिएक्शन आ रहा है, मुफ्ती इस्माइल कासमी साहब, ये एमएलए हैं अभी मालेगांव के, ये हमारे साथ फोन लाइन पे है। मुफ्ती कासमी, थैंक यू फॉर स्पीकिंग टू टाइम्स नाउ, व्हाट वुड यू लाइक टू से?
भाई देखो, मैं मालेगांव का रहने वाला हूं। 29 सितंबर 2008 को मालेगांव में बम ब्लास्ट हुआ था भिक्कू चौक में, और उन दिनों बम ब्लास्ट हुआ था, रमजान का महीना था, आखिरी 2 दिन बाकी थे। रात की नमाज के बाद लोग भिक्कू चौक में जमा हुए और वहां पर ब्लास्ट हुआ, और जिस गाड़ी पर बम प्लांट किया गया था वो गाड़ी साध्वी प्रज्ञा सिंह के नाम थी। अब वहां से जो है डिपार्टमेंट ने इंक्वायरी शुरू की, और डिपार्टमेंट ने इंक्वायरी करने के बाद गाड़ी जब मिली और गाड़ी से प्रज्ञा सिंह तक पहुंचे, और उसके बाद
इस्माइल साहब, आपकी जो गाड़ी है बहुत स्लो चल रही है, इसको थोड़ा तेजी, इसमें तेजी लाइए। वो तो पुरानी बात है, आज कोर्ट ने फाइनली इतने सालों बाद, 2008 का ये केस है, 2025 में हम बात कर रहे हैं, कोर्ट ने कहा है कि ये गलत केस था, इन लोगों को फंसाया गया, सबको बाइज्जत बरी कर दिया गया। उस पे क्या कहेंगे?
बाइज्जत बरी किया है, हम सुप्रीम कोर्ट में जाएंगे, हम अपील में ऊपर जाएंगे, हमको जो है न्याय चाहिए। अगर रूबीना सिद्दीकी को गाड़ी उसके नाम पर होने की वजह से उसको सजा दी जाती है, तो प्रज्ञा सिंह के नाम
Ashok Chavan, the former Maharashtra Chief Minister, now Member of Parliament of the BJP, is with us. Mr. Chavan, thank you for speaking to Times Now. Your first reaction on what you've heard. All accused acquitted. The saffron terror lie has been demolished.
I have not seen the judgment. I am in a flight on way to Mumbai, so I have not been able to see the television also. So the judgment has to be seen on what grounds they have been acquitted is an issue. But it was a serious incident. People have died. It was a blast. So naturally, who is responsible for this is an issue which has to be ascertained. And I think government, after due consultation and legal process, will have to take a call on this issue.
No, Mr. Chavan, legal process is one thing, sir, but you know, you were in the Congress then, and some of your colleagues, Sushil Kumar Shinde, Mr. Chidambaram, some of the others, Digvijay Singh, had come up with the term saffron terror. So this verdict now proves there is no saffron terror.
See, there is no question of any saffron terror or anything. And it doesn't make a difference whether I'm which party is not the issue. The issue is only that if it is a serious crime which has taken place, and it is immaterial where a person is. A crime is a crime. But naturally, what are the issues on which the court have acquitted these people? I cannot comment on this unless judgment is seen.
I understand that, Mr. Chavan. It's a 1,000-page verdict, and you know, we will all take time to understand the nuance, the reasonings, etc. But you are talking about a crime. I'll tell you what a more serious crime was. For 18 years, from 2008 to 2025, for all these years, patriots were hounded. Now spare a thought for Colonel Srikant Purohit.
Pardon?
The system betrayed people like Srikant Purohit, Colonel, serving Lieutenant Colonel of the Indian Army.
No, you see, I will not comment on the court verdict. There are issues which have to be ascertained. There are issues about the judgment, on what grounds the judgment has been given on acquittal.
Okay, now let me ask you a more fundamental question, Mr. Chavan. Do you believe there is saffron terror?
No, there is no question of any terror. Any terror is a terror. Whether terror committed by anybody is a terror. So there is no question about supporting any sort of terrorism committed by X or Y.
Okay, Mr. Chavan, then if there is no saffron terror, what should those who coined the term saffron terror do now? At the very least, apologize? Will they apologize?
I have nothing to say about anybody. I have given my reaction as far as the verdict is concerned.
Okay, Mr. Chavan, we'll let you go. First reaction from the former Maharashtra Chief Minister. Obviously, he's tight-lipped because he doesn't want to, embarrass his old colleagues. But viewers, this is not about people. This is about a system that was rigged, gamed to betray the larger cause of justice. Amita Vadhva also joins the broadcast. Syed Asad Abbas in the frame. Our colleagues Nilesh, Rucha live with us. Nilesh, to you first. You are at that spot in Malegaon.
Pranesh, this is a massive development that we all have been waiting for. 17 years have passed, but for some it is a fresh memory, a fresh pain into their memory when we have been speaking to several individuals here on ground in Malegaon's Bhiku Chowk area, and this individual who runs a tea shop happens to be one among them, whose elder brother was injured into the blast that took place here into this premises. We'll try to understand what exactly goes through his head when this verdict has finally come out. दादा, कोर्ट का फैसला आ गया है, सभी आरोपियों को बरी कर दिया है, क्या कहेंगे?
ये तो हमारे साथ नाइंसाफी हुई है, हम खाली इंसाफ चाहते हैं और हम अब दूसरी बात कुछ नहीं कहेंगे। अब जो भी आगे रहेंगे कार्रवाई वो हमारे बड़े लोग करेंगे, बस।
कोर्ट के फैसले का सम्मान करें?
कोर्ट के फैसले का सम्मान कर रहे हैं और क्या कर सकते, दूसरा हम कुछ नहीं कर सकते।
लेकिन अभी भी इसको लेकर उच्च अदालत में जाएंगे आप?
हाँ, वो हमारे बड़े लोग के ऊपर, हम कुछ नहीं बोलेंगे।
अच्छा,
हाँ।
So one of the victims' family members states that he is accepting the court's verdict, giving due respect to the judicial system.
Will it be challenged as far as in the higher courts are also concerned, Rucha, because what is now being believed that this judgment copy is said to, continue and go on for more than 1,000 pages. Of course, we are awaiting as far as we get in hand when it comes to the judgment. Details are also concerned, but a very pertinent point that has been made by the judge over here, especially when it comes to debunking the saffron terror theory, goes on to say that no religion can actually advocate violence and has said very clearly that no color can be given when it comes to terrorism. Important to note, especially in today's political class.
Well, A.K. Lahoti, judge has given his verdict, and where he highlighted that terrorism has no color, no religion. Saffron terror was the term coined in the previous era, where we have seen how the Malegaon case has finally come to an end, where we are seeing after 17 years of wait, all the accused have now been acquitted by court, and each and every detail was mentioned in today's verdict, where Sadhvi Pragya Singh, who was first accused of owning a vehicle, a motorcycle, which was the reason of blast, was said earlier, but the court has said clearly that the prosecution has failed to prove that she was the owner of the vehicle. The chase's number, which was previously said that was owned by her, is now being said
sorry to interrupt. We will get to these details, during the course of the day. Let's not lose sight of this momentous verdict, viewers. What's important is to underline that for 17 long years, people, including Rahul Gandhi, Mr. Chidambaram, Digvijay Singh, some of the others, late leader of the CPM, There were many who said that there is something known as saffron terror, Hindu terror. The court today has denied, rejected, demolished that argument and shred it to bits. Majid Memon is also joining us, senior advocate. Mr. Memon, what would you tell those who said there is something known as saffron terror?
So, see, those who said so said it on the basis of pendency of serious accusations against certain Hindus. Now, they were certainly awaiting the outcome. Now, today's verdict, I have said it and I have it for you, for your benefit, Arnav, and for your viewers, that today's decision which has come after 17 long years has done no justice to the victims.
But would it change the narrative, Mr. Memon? Would it change the narrative 17 years later?
No, 17 years later, even these persons who were accused of this crime, injustice is inflicted upon them. They carried the burden of serious accusations for such a long period. They were kept in confinement for some time. This is injustice because of the delay in our justice system.
No, don't
Why did it take
it, Mr. Memon? Look, Mr. Memon, 1 minute. Mr. Memon, let's not trivialize this. It is not as simple as you would have our viewers believe. What do you want to say to those? And I'm taking names, and you should not shy away from taking names. Mr. Chidambaram, Rahul Gandhi, Digvijay Singh, the proponents of the Hindu terror theory.
No, but if they said it because there were serious accusations against certain Hindus, that was the basis.
Okay, so that makes it saffron terror or Hindu terror, Mr. Memon, really?
No. See, and I am sorry to say that how could Home Minister yesterday say this on the floor of the House that no Hindu can ever be a terrorist? Can you justify that?
That's a political comment. I am asking you about this case.
So these political leaders from Congress also have given political comments.
Okay.
Isn't it?
So that is justified. For Amit Shah to say that no Hindu can be a terrorist, you are saying that absolves Mr. Chidambaram, Digvijay Singh and all the others who coined the term saffron terror.
Allah, you are putting it into my mouth. I am not,
Mr. Memon. Mr. Memon, I want you to take a position. Now that the court verdict is before us, what would you tell Mr. Chidambaram? You can, give him a word of advice on national television. It's okay.
I would, through you, I would convey to all these three men whom you have named that they also will have to wait, because this also is going to be going in appeal in the High Court. One does not know the same fate probably of what the reversal of conviction in the rail blast case.
But Sadhvi Pragya was convicted by these people even before the real conviction. Rahul Gandhi said terrorist Sadhvi Pragya. On what basis, Mr. Memon?
You are wrong to say that they convicted.
Of course she was. There is a post by Rahul Gandhi. I'll send it to you after this if you have not seen it.
No,
Rahul
I
Ishwar, okay. Hang on, sir. Just stay with us.
If anybody has jumped the line and said it that Pragya is a convict, I think that is an absolutely wrong statement.
This is not about anybody. There were many people. The entire system jumped the gun. And the larger ecosystem, so the system betrayed people like Colonel Purohit, a serving lieutenant colonel. And then the ecosystem was only peddling half-truths and, propaganda. They will all have to, at the very least apologize. We are going to put a drop down with names and their comments so that people today realize what's at stake. Mr. Memon, thank you for speaking to us. Arunil Sadadekar also joining the broadcast. So it's Bhavtosh. Bhavtosh, bring us up to speed for viewers who may not be aware about the intricacies of the case. If you could quickly put this in context.
Pradesh, two things as far as this case is concerned. For past 17 years, there were two charge sheets. Prosecution relied on two charge sheets. One filed by the Maharashtra ATS and the second that was filed by the NIA in March 2016. So the prosecution did not rely on one charge sheet but on two charge sheets. And importantly, it was the NIA that in March 2016 dropped the charges of Makoka. So the prosecution, as far as prosecution is concerned, so they had a tough time as far as this case is concerned. NIA in fact had mentioned in the court that accused in this case were brutally tortured, whether it's the case of Sadhvi Pragya or whether it's the case of Colonel Purohit. As far as Colonel Purohit is concerned, NIA in fact had said that explosives RDX was planted in Jammu and Kashmir. He was picked up from Pune and then he was taken by Maharashtra ATS to Jammu and Kashmir. At that point of time, he was with military intelligence, and according to NIA, they had said that evidence was planted on him. He in fact maintained that, and in September 2017, the Supreme Court released him on bail. He was taken back to the court, NIA court, and he maintained that all evidence were fabricated as far as this case is concerned. NIA also questioned the use of organized crime law, Makoka, because they have said that evidence was planted, and they had also said that statements were coerced and were taken under duress. As far as the motorcycle is concerned, they said that maybe it belongs to Sadhvi Pragya, but at that point of time it was being driven by Kalsangra, another accused in this case. That's how this entire case was built up. It was in March 2011, Pranesh, that the case was handed over to NIA. At that point of time, UPA was in power. So for any Congress or UPA to say that it was BJP that made sure that accused in this case are released, it was under UPA that the case itself was transferred to the anti-terror.
And one question as far as to Rahul Ishwar is also concerned, because Rahul Ishwar, now there are talks, you've been listening to the people as well who are getting connected with us on the broadcast, that they may be seeking an appeal in a higher court. But what about when it comes to the justice for those accused in the case who have been now, for the last 17 years, whether it was torture physically or even mentally, who will give justice to them? When we speak of Sadhvi Pragya Thakur, when we speak of Colonel Purohit, what about justice for them?
See, two submissions. We all empathize with people who have lost life, who have been injured. We have to respect court's verdict. Yes, there is every right to appeal the court's verdict, because, that's the due process of law, like Mevin sir said, or anybody can go there. But right now, at this point of time, court's verdict stands, and court's verdict says that these people, cannot be implicated in this, or are innocent of this, or the prosecution couldn't prove. So I believe that should be respected, and Colonel Prasad Purohit is a serving member of the Indian Army. His service should be respected, and let us not cast aspersions on court's verdict. That is very important. Courts are the last bastion of justice in India, as we all know. So let us respect the court's verdict. Those who disagree with it legally can go to a higher court. We are all sure that the case will go to High Court and Supreme Court.
Are you not upset? Are you not angry that even before the verdict, there were people who said Sadhvi Pragya was a terrorist?
That kind of harsh words towards a former MP and a person being called terrorist, that should not be used until and unless convicted by a court of law. Nobody has a right to do that. And very importantly, like you both earlier mentioned, court rightly said there is no color to terrorism. There is no Hindu terror or there is no Muslim terror. There is no color. And court has rightly said we shouldn't attribute such things. That was a political narrative. Inhuman acts is, I think Ashok Chavan sir also mentioned that, beyond political parties. It's a very sensitive case, and we should respect that.
Don't give a clean sheet to Mr. Chavan, because, as a former chief minister, the least he could have done is to have taken a position, but he shied away. Now I'm giving him the benefit of doubt that he said, I'm catching a flight. So let him take that flight, let him land safely, and then we'll send our reporters to him also, because, Amita, you see, political leaders across party lines, those who've jumped ship, who were earlier in the Congress, now in the BJP, or vice versa, etc., are all on test today. Absolutely. So those who are saying, yes, there is something called as saffron terror, must today come out and with folded hands said, yes, we jumped the gun, apologize, we are sorry. There is no such thing as saffron terror or Hindu terror.
Mr. Abbas, will it now change the narrative? Will those people, because now they find themselves in quite a difficult and a sticky position, will it change the narrative now?
The fact of the matter is we speak of the accused, but it's very sad that we don't speak of the 6 people who died. Somebody is responsible for that. Over 100 people injured.
That is exactly what the court has said, that the prosecution failed when it comes to establish justice for the victims. They have established that a blast has happened, but who was behind it? Would you attribute a color when it comes to the verdict?
To complete my point, ma'am, I've come 20 minutes into the debate. The NIA in its final argument submitted that the Malegaon Blast case was orchestrated by the conspirators to terrorize a section of Muslim community. NIA has said that in the final argument. disrupt essential services, create communal tensions, and threaten the state's internal security. I am not saying this. The same report which acquitted Sadhvi Pragya and the others has said this. So who is responsible for the 6 deaths? Who is responsible for the 100 people who have been injured? Would we come here and debate only about the accused or the victims too?
No, then rather broaden your horizon, Mr. Abbas.
Just a minute.
Yes.
Syed Asad Abbas, 1 minute. The lives of all individuals are just as important. In the last 17 years, these people who are, branded as accused, now acquitted, they've gone through hell and worse. Do you know what they did? Do you know? No. Do you know the kind of torture inflicted on Sadhvi Pragya? Why are you trivializing her pain and torture? Why? I want you to answer what I asked Mr. Majid Memon to say. Will you condemn Mr. Chidambaram, Digvijay Singh, Rahul Gandhi?
It's very interesting, sir, that you speak of the accused. What about the last 17 years? What about the parents of the 6 people who died? What about them? Do you know what they have gone through in the last 17 years?
Who failed them?
What about them? What about justice?
1 minute. Who failed them? Syed Asad Abbas, who failed them? You tell me, who came up with this saffron terror theory? I want you to tell me.
Tell you what?
Who coined the word saffron terror?
And who gained from that?
Pranesh, I don't know whether you've seen my debates. Ask Navika Kumar what is my stand on saffron terror. I have condemned the people who use the word saffron terror because my brothers Hindus are the greatest and the most peace-loving people. I condemn the people who say saffron terror. There is no saffron terror. There is no Hindu terror.
Very good. Syed Asad Abbas, now that you've taken a position, you've condemned there was no saffron terror. Will you condemn the individuals who said it? Rahul Gandhi, even before the verdict said, 1 minute. Syed Asad Abbas, 1 minute. Do you condemn Rahul Gandhi when he says terrorist Sadhvi Pragya?
Did he say terrorist Sadhvi
Of course
Pragya,
he said.
Or did he say terror accused
Terrorist
Sadhvi Pragya?
Sadhvi Pragya. I'll put up that tweet. It'll come up on the screen.
Put it up.
Just stay with us.
There is a difference.
Stay with us and then you apologize. 1 minute. 1 minute. We have Harishankar Jain, noted lawyer, also joining the broadcast. Sir, thank you for speaking to Times Now. What do you make of this? 17 साल के बाद जैन साहब फाइनली फैसला आता है और जो एक तरह से सैफरन टेरर, हिंदू टेरर थियरी थी, उसको कोर्ट ने मिट्टी में मिला दिया है.
देखिए, इस बार चिदम्बरम and Congress party as a whole, they wanted to target Hindus, to tarnish the image of Hindu religion, and that is why the concept of so-called Hindu terrorism was mooted by them. Actually, it is totally false. It was a conspiracy against the entire Sanatan Dharma, and it was at the behest of some foreign agencies the Congress party was doing. Now everything has come out, and the truth has come out before the public, and it is also proved that case is baseless. There is no evidence to prove that to connect the accused with the crime. Number 2, you see that nothing has been found, and Pragya Thakur, Kulkarni, Purohit, and so many persons, they were brutally beaten, and they were abused, and they were targeted, tarnished their image. Therefore, it is a matter of shame, national shame, and it is for the accused persons to prosecute all the prosecution agencies as well as all those leaders who have made allegations against them, false allegations.
But what about justice for them as well? Because the kind of torture that they had to go through for the last 17 years, yes, there is the other side who says that what about those 6 lives that were lost? Because there is still, as far as when it comes to justice for them, that is still, elusive. But when we speak of the current scenario, Mr. Jain, the court has very rightly put out as far as attributing that there cannot be any color that can be connected with terrorism. And especially when it comes to the entire saffron terror theory, do you believe now has been debunked?
That is, I'm saying that now these persons, these accused persons now have been acquitted. They should file a suit for damages, defamation, malicious prosecution, as well as they should be compensated for that, and they should demand from the government to compensate them. And fought for 17 years, a long term. I personally met a number of accused persons personally. Pragya Thakur had told me the entire story, how she was beaten by male police officers.
Yes, the torture. Yes.
Torture.
Yes.
And this is shameful. In Indian history, it is shameful. British government was doing, in Mughal era it was being done, but now in free India, it can't be accepted. And all those
Shankar Jain ji, thank you for speaking to Times Now. We'll connect to you during the day also, sir. Please be available. Syed Asad Abbas, note the date, 28th November 2019. I am reading what Rahul Gandhi had tweeted, and you'll also see the tweet come up on the screen. Terrorist Pragya calls terrorist Godse a patriot. A sad day in the history of India's parliament. Quote unquote. Rahul Gandhi.
Rahul Gandhi has, I think, should have been a lot more responsible by using the word terror accused and not a terrorist. It's absolutely wrong to address a terror accused person as a terrorist. This will be my sacrosanct statement. Also, let me tell you, sir, that the NIA special court is not the last court. I'm sure the victims' families will move the apex court.
That's okay.
Because somebody is responsible for
Even 1 minute, sir, you're talking about the apex court. There is an ecosystem, Syed Asad Abbas, and you know about it, that refuses to, follow what the Supreme Court has said. You know what happened to Afzal Guru, Yaqub Memon? All sent to gallows by the Supreme Court, the highest court of the land. And the ecosystem says that they were failed by the system. There were some heroes, martyrs, etc.
Overnight hearings that were taking place, Mr. Abbas.
Yes.
I will answer that. Afzal Guru and Yaqub Memon are convicted terrorists by the Supreme Court. So they must be addressed as nothing short of terrorists. So the ecosystem that you speak about, I will condemn them unequivocally, unconditionally. But the fact is, 6 lives have been lost. Who is responsible? All are acquitted. No, sir. Somebody is responsible, and I have faith in the...
Look at the screen. That's the tweet I was reading. Rahul Gandhi. Rahul Ishwar, terrorist Pragya.
Junction, I appreciate and respect Syed Abbas ji for saying that she should have been called a terrorist accused, not a terrorist, or a terror accused, not a terrorist. That kind of a sensible voice should come from all spectrums. It's an important case. As Syed Bhai rightly said, 6 people lost their life. Their families might be watching the show. 100 people got injured. We understand the sensitivity and gravity of the situation. But leader of opposition, with due respect to Rahul Gandhi, his legacy, he should not have used. I know he's holding a high post right now. He's virtually the leader of the opposition in that sense, the shadow prime minister. So he should not have used.
The political mileage that has been gained in the last 17 years alone, using the floating such theory, election after election. And as far as creating this divide is also concerned, quickly I'm told to go to Arunil as well. He's joining us live right now. Arunil, where does it bring upon as far as the case is also concerned? Because it has been admitted by the prosecution that the blast did happen. This is what the judge has been saying. But who was then behind it? Arunil.
Well, that is a baffling question, clearly, Amita, that comes to the fore. I was inside the courtroom when the judge was basically pronouncing the order. First, he started with the history of the case. He mentioned about the aspect. Now, there were 3 important points that he mentioned about. First, he discussed about Colonel Purohit, saying that, yes, there is no cogent evidence to prove that RDX was recovered from the residence of Colonel Purohit. There is no cogent evidence that Colonel Purohit basically assembled the explosive which created the blast in Malegaon. So obviously he was exonerated. Then the charges against Sadhvi Pragya. What basically was mentioned was the entire case was dependent on the motorcycle that was recovered from Malegaon. It was the theory from the ATS was that the bomb was strapped to this motorcycle, and later on, after investigation, it was found out that the concerned motorcycle belonged to Sadhvi Pragya. Sadhvi Pragya was immediately arrested, and based on her interrogation as well as call records, the other accused were also arrested later on, subsequently. Now, what the judge basically mentioned was that Sadhvi Pragya had renounced the world and she had become a sannyasi before the Malegaon bomb blast happened. So, there is no ample evidence or a cogent evidence to showcase or to establish that she was in possession of the concerned motorcycle to which the bomb was allegedly strapped to. They also basically said that there is no cogent evidence to establish the links of Sadhvi Pragya with the other accused as well. With respect to conspiracy meetings that had taken place, with respect to Abhinav Bharat, the organization as well,
right,
the judge said that Colonel Purohit as well as...
Here's what Sadhvi Pragya, addressing the judge in the NIA court, said, and I'm quoting now. I said this from the very beginning, that those who are called for investigation there should be a basis behind that. I was called by them for investigation and was arrested and tortured. This ruined my whole life. I was living a sage's life, but I was made an accused and no one was willingly standing beside us. I am alive because I am a sannyasi. They defamed Bhagwa through a conspiracy. Today Bhagwa has won and Hindutva has won, and God will punish those who are guilty. However, those who defamed India and Bhagwa have not been proved wrong by you. This is what she is believed to have said in the court. Atikur Rahman also joining the broadcast. Meghna Deka live with us.
Thank you so much.
Atikur Rahman, you have on many occasions referred to Sadhvi Pragya as terrorist. Why don't you start by apologizing?
Yes. The only condition, Pranesh, will be that you too apologize for the people who were released by the same court, by the same judiciary, just 3-5 days back. Will you apologize to
Sir,
them?
I will say my piece. You begin by apologizing. It's a false equivalence, but I will answer that question. आप पहले माफी मांगिए, फिर मैं आपके सवाल का जवाब देता हूं.
Yes. Now, even if as Sayyid Abbas rightly said, this is not the last court.
Sir, this is not 1 minute. Do you believe in the Supreme Court? 1 minute. Atikur Rahman, you can't get away like this. Sir, 1 minute. मुझे ये बताइए कि आप पहले माफी मांगिए, उससे बाद मैं आपको दूसरा सवाल पूछता हूं. हाईएस्ट कोर्ट ऑफ द लैंड तक लेके जाऊंगा.
These people guilty that they did it, that their body language, their hatred towards the Muslim community.
Oh, body language. So you will call someone terrorist based on body language. Now I am being aggressive with you in my,
Atikur Rahman, if I may come in, Atikur Rahman, there are certain things I would like to read out to you, and I would like you to respond point by point, and I will really appreciate it. And being a woman, I would really appreciate it if I could today get some direct answers out of it. This is what Sadhvi Pragya has said, that she was wrongly incarcerated, and this has been for the last 17 years. Beaten by male officers with a belt. Cops hurled filthy abuses at me. This is what Sadhvi Pragya had said. They wanted to forcibly extract confession. They wanted me to implicate RSS leaders. There were also details coming out that how there was chili powder put on her private parts. Atikur Rahman, are you trying to politicize the injustice towards a person who may have been wrongly convicted, incarcerated for this long? But the fact that there were no human rights also which were allowed to her. Would you say this is justice, someone being locked up for this long?
Meghna, please hear me out. All my sympathies to all those people who face third degree by the police. But tell me one thing, which...
Your sympathies are not going to bring back 17 years, perhaps an apology would today suffice.
My complete statement, I will have to leave, Meghna. These are sensitive issues. Please don't...
Mr. Atikur Rahman, don't run away so quickly, sir. It's a long day. It's going to be a long day for you. You can, I'll tell you, sir, you can help your cause by saying, I am sorry, I called Sadhvi Pragya terrorist. It's okay. It's okay to apologize. Boliye, sir.
I would like to leave. Should I leave?
Sir, this is not called leaving. This is called running away. अतीकुर रहमान, इसको जाना नहीं कहते हैं, इसको भागना कहते हैं. Do you want to run away? You can.
This is your agenda. This is your agenda.
Atikur Rahman, there is no agenda. Do you think that the courts have an agenda? Otherwise, you say that the courts have an agenda, because this acquittal is not coming from either one of us or Times Now. It is coming in from the courts. Atikur Rahman, today, if you could speak to Sadhvi Pragya, what would you say to her?
He is gone. Sadhvi Pragya will have to wait for another day, another turn. Atikur Rahman has run away.
I think he's there. He's there. He's there.
I'm still here. My phone fell down.
Okay, sir.
Okay,
My phone fell down. Please listen to me, Meghna.
Yes, sir. We would like to listen to you, actually.
Thank you so much. Meghna, my very limited point is the train blast accused to face third degree by the police. At that time, Pranesh did not recognize that torture on them. I am not declining that all blast accused are under third degree by the investigating agencies. Tell me one terror accused who has not faced third degree. Why are you only pinpointing?
Because not every terror accused gets an acquittal. Not every terror accused gets an acquittal, that too after facing third degree 17 years later. When there are questions raised about political pressure, questions raised about Makoka, why it was put in the first place, questions raised if there was a larger narrative to implicate a certain religion, Atikur Rahman, which is why, sir, we are today asking you these questions.
Meghna, so far it is not established that who did it. The investigating agencies are under a big law. They should answer this larger question. So far, this question is not answered. I will help all these accused quickly facing the law until the last court of appeal, that is the Supreme Court. My limited argument, I rest my case.
You, sir, 1 minute. You can rest your case, but we are not going to rest till we have an apology from you and all the others who coined the term saffron terror. Aditya Pratap, and do not go away, sir. Aap rukiye. Aditya Pratap Singh also joining the broadcast. Aditya, good afternoon.
Yes.
Your first thoughts on this?
Well, as we can see the judgment, this has been a very long trial. A lot of witnesses have been examined, and the special NIA court appears to have based its judgment on certain findings. What are the findings the NIA court has come? First and foremost, the learned NIA court has come to the finding that first and foremost, they say there is no proof that the bomb was detonated on a motorcycle. Second, the court said that there was no evidence on record that Lieutenant Colonel Purohit had bought the RDX and assembled the bomb. And the court also said that there was no proof, no cogent proof that Sadhvi Pragya was the owner of the alleged motorcycle. Further, there were also allegations that there were also findings that the chassis number and other relevant data of the motorcycle had been erased. Now, as we can see, is that the trial court has gone by the law. The trial court has appreciated the evidence. Of course, it will be a very voluminous order which has just come out, and the order will take some time to be available. But then one can clearly see that the court has appreciated and weighed the evidence. Now, you must be aware that a few weeks back, there was another judgment by which the accused persons in the Mumbai train blasts, they were also acquitted. So, of course, the point is that acquittal also followed a judicial process. This acquittal has also followed a judicial process. And if we see in both these matters, like, of course, one thing you will appreciate is that after, that just a few years back, after 2015, 2016, the National Investigating Agency Act was passed. Now all terrorism incidents are investigated by the National Investigating Agency.
That's right. We'll get to that. It's an important point, Meghna. But let's for a moment focus on what Asaduddin Owaisi has said. He has put out a tweet. He says that this verdict is disappointing. Something along the lines of what Mr. Atikur Rahman was saying, that look, it does not end here, that the process will go till the Supreme Court. But Meghna, you would remember that Owaisi, who finds the verdict disappointing, was also disappointed by the Supreme Court verdict on Ayodhya. He had said it was a black day for judiciary.
And these are the questions which are raised repeatedly. But one question I did have of Aditya Prasad, but I believe Ratan Sharda is also joining us. So let me quickly go across to him. Ratan Sharda, all the people, and there seems to be a very specific lobby of people today are coming out and questioning the courts. And I would, before I come to you, sir, just remind our viewers. We reminded our viewers what exactly it is that Sadhvi Pragya had alleged about the torture she allegedly faced while she was jailed. It's important for us to not forget what Colonel Purohit had told the NHRC as well. He had said that he was illegally detained, made to face hell in illegal detention, that Colonel Purohit's private parts were twisted, his hair was pulled out. I'm sorry, these are very grotesque, very disturbing details, but I must today tell our viewers that this is what he had said, that his feet were tied, stretched to 180 degrees. That attempts were made to make me own up to the bomb blast, which I did not carry out. These are the kind of tortures that people had to face. Let me go across to Ratan Sharda. Today, the likes of Owaisi still come out and question. They want these people to be further punished. People like Sadhvi Pragya, because they are still gunning for what they call the Hindu terror bogey, the saffron terror bogey which they raised.
I'm surprised because this has been the standard narrative for so many years. It started in 1993 when the great Sharad Pawar invented a 13th bomb blast in Mumbai to balance the terror narrative. That was the first sign of this kind of, sick mentality. And if at all people are saying that there is no justice, please question Congress, which first had one case under its government. Then it chose to create another narrative, another story, fictitious story, to implicate so many people. All the cases that are falling in the courts of law are because these are proven and fictitious cases that are put on, and they were going to fall in the courts. So I would say for political gains, they have played with lives of hundreds of people, because first not blaming, saying no religion, nothing. These are all, something else. Every month there used to be terror. And then they invented the saffron terror. And in fact, I became a writer just to counter saffron terror. I was not a writer before that. So from that on, they have not been able to substantiate any of their claims. And if you remember, 2000, there was the Samjhauta Express fall in the ground. So those people who died, the people who should have got punished, the blood is in the hand of Congress and the ecosystem, which allowed such people to go scot-free, just to put Hindus in a position where they can be persecuted, they can be blamed, they can be defamed. Not only Samjhauta Express, you remember when Amit Shah was put into jail on fictitious case of Ishrat Jahan, who actually was a terrorist, owned up by the terrorist people. And then you had all the cases that came up, and the saffron terror had to fall. But unfortunately, that let the actual terrorists scot-free, just to create a kind of terror and comfort Muslims, not realizing that they are also going to be victim of the terror. And that is what has happened.
Absolutely. In fact, we have Asaduddin Owaisi's tweet that Pranesh had just referred to there on your screens. I'm going to go back to what exactly were the words of the judge. It's important for us to go back to Arunil. Arunil, you must remind our viewers. We are talking about the larger agenda, the political agenda, perhaps behind this entire, what many, especially the accused, have called the persecution agenda. But remind our viewers of what were the exact words of the judge when he acquitted all the accused. One of the most important one, of course, is that terror has no color.
Well, after pronouncing the order, after saying that all the 7 accused are not guilty, they are acquitted of all the charges because there is no cogent evidence against them, the judge went on to say that terrorism has no religion, also said that terrorism has no color as well. Yes. Now, this statement is extremely paramount, Meghna, because Malegaon is the only case. This is the case which led to the term Hindu terrorism or saffron terrorism. led to the emergence of that term. Basically, the ATS which was investigating the case, as well as the UPA regime that was in power. R.R. Patil was the Home Minister of Maharashtra. That time, the political leaders, including politicians from Sharad Pawar's party as well. R.R. Patil was from Sharad Pawar's NCP. Congress was also very much part of the government, and political leaders were openly using this term as saffron terrorism, Hindu terrorism. The ATS investigating officers were also using that, and after 17 years now, it seems like the whole rhetoric that was set up after the Malegaon bomb blast, with NI also investigating this case. Today is a landmark day wherein the judge has said that terrorism has no color, no religion will propagate terrorism. Basically, it defloats the rhetoric that was being set up by the UPA regime at that time. The BJP is constantly attacking the UPA leaders, be it Sharad Pawar's party or Congress particularly, saying that they had done this with an agenda to do Muslim appeasement. This is what BJP is saying, and today it seems like after the acquittal of all these 7 accused, as well as the judge went on to saying that there is no color to terrorism or no religion can propagate terrorism. The rhetoric or the mindset that was being set up by the UPA regime, basically the Congress and NCP, which was united at that time, that is defloated now.
Atikur Rahman, respond to that. Today it is the courts who are saying color had no religion. And just to remind, some of the people you have come here on Times Now and defended in the past have said things, many have said wild things, such as saffron terror phenomenon has been implicated in many bomb blasts. Like you have P. Chidambaram saying that. Sushil Kumar Shinde, who was then the minister, had said BJP RSS have conducted terror training camps. We are probing it. Then you have Salman Khurshid, who has said our position on Hindu terror is completely based on facts. And of course, you have Digvijay Singh. Not every Hindu is a terrorist, but why is every Hindu terrorist a Sanghi? These are the kind of statements which have been made about one specific religion. I'll just come to you, Atikur Rahman. Let's remind our viewers. Play out these bites from the Times Now archives because it's important that we never forget.
ये भारतीय जनता पार्टी हो या आरएसएस के हो, उनके जो ट्रेनिंग कैंप्स है वो हिंदू टेररिज्म बढ़ाने का काम देख रहे हैं। इस पर भी हमारी बड़ी कड़ी नजर है। समझौता एक्सप्रेस,
संघ के लोग बोलते थे कि ये तो बात सही है कि सारे मुसलमान आतंकवादी नहीं होते, लेकिन जितने आतंकवादी पकड़े जाते हैं वो मुसलमान क्यों होते हैं? लेकिन अब ये क्या हो रहा है, हम ये तो हमारा नारा हो गया है। हम उनसे पूछते हैं कि हर हिंदू तो आतंकवादी नहीं होता, लेकिन जितने हिंदू आतंकवादी पकड़े जाते हैं वो सब संघी क्यों हैं, ये हमें बता दो।
There is a recently uncovered phenomenon of saffron terrorism that has been implicated in many bomb blasts of the past. My advice to you is that we must remain ever vigilant and continue to build at the central and state levels our capacity in counter-terrorism.
Professor Atikur Rahman, in the past you have many times defended this very saffron terror lobby. Today the courts have said terror has no religion.
Meghna, you are right that political parties and politicians address a particular issue depending upon their constituency and vote bank. Here we are talking of the larger interest of our society, and that is the judge said. Now I believe 100% what the judge said, that terror has no religion. You ask Mr. Ratan Shada, does he agree with this statement?
Atikur Rahman, did you jump the gun when there were others, perhaps of a different religion, tagging them terrorists as you did with Sadhvi Pragya before the verdict came out?
I never. That's why I need to pinpoint that if you are taking up the statement of Mr. Owaisi, why don't you pick up the statement of the Chief Minister of Maharashtra 2 days earlier? He appealed in the larger court against the bomb.
Atikur Rahman, why should I listen to politicians when I have the courts? The courts are very clear about what they have said. That a woman without any proof that they could use to convict her had faced stringent charges of makoka. She was allegedly tortured in custody. 17 years later, you are saying now, sorry, there wasn't enough proof. that's not good enough. Atikur.
Are you people not aware of this? आपको ये मालूम नहीं है कि इंडियन इकोनॉमी डेड इकोनॉमी है? कोई कंफ्यूजन है आप में? पूरी दुनिया जानती है कि इंडियन इकोनॉमी इज डेड इकोनॉमी और बीजेपी ने इकोनॉमी को खत्म कर दिया है. क्यों खत्म किया है? अदानी जी की मदद करने के लिए खत्म किया है. तो आप लोग हैरान क्यों लग रहे हो? देखिए, आप एक चीज देखिए, फॉरेन मिनिस्टर भाषण करते हैं, वी हैव ए जीनियस फॉरेन पॉलिसी. ठीक है, एक तरफ अमेरिका आपको गाली दे रहा है, दूसरी तरफ चाइना आपके पीछे पड़ा हुआ.
Well, we are going to try and play out that entire soundbite yet again, because I believe Rahul Gandhi has dodged a direct question when he was asked about the saffron terror theory. Let me go across to Rahul Ishwar. Rahul Ishwar, this woman had to go through hell and back. Today, those people who were quick to call her a terrorist, not one word, forget about apology of even coming out and admitting that perhaps we were wrong. Why? Is it all about the religion?
Yeah. With due respect to Sri Rahul Gandhi, who is the leader of opposition, he used the word terrorist in connection with Sadhvi Pragya. That was very unfair. Even Prime Minister, nobody agrees with Sadhvi Pragya's statement on Godse. Even Prime Minister said he will never forgive Sadhvi Pragya for that.
You can disagree with people on issues.
Exactly.
That doesn't make a person a terrorist. If I disagree with you, neither you or I become a terrorist.
Exactly. Exactly. What you said is a crux of the issue. See, when you disagree with a person, you can disagree respectfully by not branding anybody a terrorist. That was very wrong from the part of Sri Rahul Gandhi, who I respect, but Rahul Gandhi should not have used that. And I hope people like Atikur Rahman Saab will acknowledge that. You know, it is very unfortunate that if anybody, may it be Hindu, Muslim or Christian, is branded a terrorist, especially on national scale, that is very bad, and that's a grievous psychological injury or a social injury that they really have. I hope people like Sri Rahul Gandhi will reconsider that statement. Yes, you disagree on ideology, you disagree on people, you disagree on God say, there is nothing wrong, but you should never, you should have a measure of words. See, when ordinary people like us are on national media, we think thrice before speaking anything, because our words should not be misrepresented, the words should have a certain kind of measure. And people of the stature of Rahul Gandhi should not have done that. I hope he will reconsider that, especially after today's court verdict.
Should he reconsider? Professor Atikur Rahman, will you reconsider? Will you give an apology for having jumped the gun? Called her a terrorist?
Meghna, with respect to Mr. Rahul Ishwar, Rahul, whoever disrespects the Mahatma of the nation, the father of the nation, and whoever supports his killer is a terrorist to me. And that's why I suppose Rahul Gandhi was absolutely correct saying that Sadhvi Pragya is not a Sadhvi, but a supporter of terrorism, a supporter of Godse, the killer of the father of the nation.
Atikur sir, just 1 second. Atikur,
okay, quickly come in, please.
No, I'm a person who has, who has tattooed Mahatma Gandhi in my hand. I am a Gandhi and have the highest respect for Mahatma Gandhi. But so Mahatma Gandhi would never call a person
Mahatma Gandhi would never call a religion and link it to terror. Mahatma Gandhi would never do that. Let me go across to Varis Pathanji, who's also joining us of the AIMIM. Appreciate you joining us, Varis Pathanji. Today, the courts have said there wasn't enough evidence to convict Sadhvi Pragya and the others. They have all been acquitted. Do you think you and others who have called her a terrorist, jumping the gun before a verdict came, will come out and say apologize to her and say not all Hindus are going to be terrorists?
Well, today the NIA Special Court has acquitted all the 7 accused persons who were involved in the Malegaon Blast case, and let me remind you, 6 Namazis were bound to offer prayers on that day. Well, killed more than 100 of them have been injured. And the prosecution, again, today the court has failed to prove the evidence, prove the case. And they are acquitted. But let me ask the Maharashtra government.
Asaduddin Owaisi called it disappointed. Is it only because you disagree with the verdict that you call it disappointing? It's not about the facts. It's not about what 17 years of probe, first from the ATS, then the NIA served, and that the courts have looked into it. You call it disappointing because it's not what you wanted out of a verdict. Is that it?
Just earlier, Mumbai High Court has passed an order acquitting 12 accused persons who were incarcerated in jail for 18 years. And there was no evidence against them. They were acquitted, and the Maharashtra government was so swift enough that they moved immediately in appeal against them in the Supreme Court, and they got a stay on that. But
if that is wrong, so is this, isn't it?
the Supreme Court has said that they cannot be taken back into custody. Madam, if you allow me to make my point, it will be better because this is a legal point. If you interject me again and again, it's no use talking to you on the phone, please.
Sir, you are given the platform. Please do use it.
Yeah. Now, after 17 years, during that period, Rohini Sadian, who was the prosecutor in the case of this Malegaon Blast, she's also made a statement saying that the NIA is asking her to go soft on this prosecution.
Yeah.
So this has to be taken into an account. Now, Ayman Karkare was...
I'm sorry to interrupt you, Varis Pathanji. Mohan Bhagwat, RSS chief, is speaking on this.
प्रमिलाताई गेल्या आमच्या डोक्यावरचं छत्र हरपल्यासारखी भावना आमची झाली. त्यांनी निष्ठापूर्वक इतके वर्ष जे समितीचं काम केलं त्यात त्यांनी परिश्रमाचा, तपस्येचा, समर्पणाचा सगळेच आदर्श आपल्या जीवनाने आमच्यासमोर उभे केलेले आहेत. त्या आता असणार नाहीत. त्यांच्या तर त्या अधिकारामुळे त्यांना सद्गती मिळणारच आहे. आम्हाला धैर्य मिळो अशीच प्रार्थना आम्ही करतो. धन्यवाद.
We wish we are given the courage, I believe, is what Mohan Bhagwat had said, that they have done tapasya and hopefully at the end of it there is justice which has been given. Ratan Sharda ji, today everyone talks about justice. What about the last 17 years? Who will pay for that? Is it so easy today to say, oops, we were wrong?
First of all, just to correct you, the statement that Mohanji made was about Pramilatai Medhe, who was the head of Rashtra Sevika Samiti. Yes. As far as this case is concerned, when Owaisi and Varis Pathan make the, disappointment and all that, when they talk there is no religion, this same Owaisi and Pathan, they have spouted more poison than anybody else. One brother says, 15 minutes de do. Another says, Modi jayenge, Yogi jayenge, tum kahan jao? Another one says, who was here right now, 15 crore Musalman, 100 crore Hindu pe bhari padenge. This is how you create a terror ecosystem. Now, you talk of the spoiled life. It was not alleged torture. Sadhvi Pragya lost her back. She was on the stretcher all this time and she had to be treated for entire physical damage that she went through. So there is no allegation here. And those people who claim that Godse and all that, have they ever talked about all these Maulana and the Maulvis who make poisonous statements all through, claiming all kind of various things? I remember 2611, but for Omble, every Hindu would have become a terrorist and then terror would have a religion. The people who said terror, no religion, very happily used to share these things saying that this is what Hindu terror is all about. And same the person sitting here, sorry, I forget the name. He used to, I'm very sorry, Atukurji, I respect you. He used to come and say RSS, BJP, ये सारे terror की जड़ है, communal disharmony की जड़ है. All that I've heard from you on all this same platform, please do introspection. You have been, from you, entire Muslim leadership has been trying to instigate Muslims, creating false victimhood card for them. And I believe this must change and you must rise on your feet. So your community rise on feet by continuously feeding the victim, terror victimhood and the question of victimhood and abusing other communities where you have grown, where you have expanded both in population and economic well-being, and see the condition of Muslims in your neighboring countries.
Very balanced view, a very straightforward view which is being put forth by Ratan Sharda, Professor Atikur Rahman. Today, will you say it's time we rise above the religion? If we say a certain verdict is not acceptable to us, you should also say there are other equations that you must make in the past as well about what you have said, and that too specifically linking verdicts to religion. Atikur Rahman.
Meghna, I have no qualms accepting that I am ready to introspect. Equally, I will ask Mr. Ratan Sharda ji that the headlines on this particular channel, that the saffron terror theory is busted. Why was this headline not there 3 days back when it was the plea for the Muslim trained accused that Muslim terror theory busted?
Atikur Rahman ji, when we reported that story as well as this story, please do not accuse us of having skimmed past your headlines. You must go beyond the headlines. Today, can you deny that you called Sadhvi Pragya a terrorist before the verdict? Can you deny that?
I will still hold her responsible. So far,
but there's no proof against her. The courts themselves have said we don't know if the Freedom's bike was in her possession or not. The chassis number was wiped out.
We have not gone to the Supreme Court so far. This court is not the last court of appeal, Meghna, and that is why I will say that this, unless it is a closure.
We respect the courts, but we cannot be selective about the orders, Atikur Rahman. We cannot be selective.
That's why I am asking the question to Mr. Ratan Shah ji. Will he say that the Muslim terror hearing started 2 days back when the 2016 terror accused were released? He will not say. That's the whole problem.
Listen to me.
Answer that, Ratan Shah ji. If you ask that question, you must listen to what Ratan Shah has to say.
He is bent upon making this communal Hindu, Muslim and all that. Let me be very frank. Look at the entire terror list of the terror attacks. You will find all of them Muslims. So should I not say that? And there is some people who are acquitted, who have been found not guilty. I always said that all Muslims are not like this. Please don't keep on tarring all the Muslim community. Look at the people of bad apples. He knows that I've said it. But at the same time, since I've brought in the terror activity, tell me the list of terror attacks in India where the terrorists were not Muslims. So all Muslims are not terrorists, but all terrorists are Muslims. If I say that, he will burn up. So let us keep balance. Let us accept the problem that we have created for the Muslims by continuously creating victim card, where Pakistanis had come and recruit them for ISI, train them into terrorists. All the sleepers that are caught every day, if they were not caught, would still be a burning country like it was till 2014. So please appreciate that they have been controlled.
Mr. Atikur Rahman, you want to respond to what Mr. Ratan Shah has said? I'll allow you, sir, but just a moment, because we have to, in fact, go across to what Rahul Gandhi said a short while ago when he was specifically asked a pointed question on today's acquittals. He decided to dodge that particular issue. Let's listen to what he said.
Sir, आपको लगता है जॉब का भी इश्यू पड़ेगा? Sir, all the accused have been acquitted in Malegaon Blast, sir.
All 7 have been acquitted in Malegaon.
All accused have been acquitted, sir.
Look, please don't, sister, please don't try and digress the issue. The main issue sitting in front of India today is that the government has destroyed our economic policy, has destroyed our defense policy, has destroyed our foreign policy. Okay? They are running this country into the ground. You people don't say it. You people want to talk about other issues, right? But they are running this country into the ground. Prime Minister एक ही व्यक्ति के लिए काम करते हैं, अदानी। सारे के सारे स्मॉल बिजनेसेस उड़ा दिए। आप देख लीजिए, ये डील होगी। ट्रंप डिफाइन करेगा ये डील कैसे होगी, और मोदी वही करेगा जो ट्रंप कहेगा।
Thank you. But the saffron terror, anything on saffron terror?
It was quoted by Congress party. The saffron terror narrative, Mr. Gandhi's saffron terror narrative was taken by Congress party.
Are you coming with me? Come on.
Sir, Malegaon, all the आपको लगता है जॉब से भी Sir, आपको लगता है जॉब का भी इश्यू पड़ेगा? Sir, all the accused have been acquitted in Malegaon Blast, sir.
All 7 have been acquitted in Malegaon.
All accused have been acquitted, sir.
Look, please don't, sister, please don't try and digress the issue. The main issue sitting in front of India today is that the government has destroyed our economic policy, has destroyed our defense policy, has destroyed our foreign policy.
Well, we are joined currently by the Deputy Chief Minister of Maharashtra, Mr. Eknath Shinde. Mr. Shinde, ये जो acquittals हुए हैं मालेगांव केस में, इसके बारे में आपका रिएक्शन क्या है सर? सबसे पहला रिएक्शन बताइए सर।
निर्णय का मैं स्वागत करता हूं, और ये भगवा दहशतवाद बोलने वाले के मुंह पर एक कोर्ट ने तमाचा मारा है, और जो यहाँ पर देर से सही लेकिन उनको न्याय मिला है। मुझे याद है कि जब पूरे देश में, महाराष्ट्र में यूपीए की सरकार के काल में ऐसे बम के धमाके हो रहे थे, तब उन्होंने कहा था दहशतवाद और आतंकवाद का कोई रंग नहीं होता, लेकिन मालेगांव ब्लास्ट को उन्होंने कहा था ये भगवा दहशतवाद है, भगवा आतंकवाद है, और भगवा और हिंदुत्व को
बदनाम करने की कोशिश तत्कालीन सरकार ने, तत्कालीन पार्टी ने की थी। एक बहुत बड़ा तमाचा उनको मिला है और इसलिए मैं आज के कोर्ट के निर्णय का स्वागत करता हूं।
शिंदे साहब, जब चिदम्बरम जी देश के गृह मंत्री थे, उन्होंने सैफरन टेररिज्म का रेफरेंस दिया था। फिर राहुल गांधी 2019 में जब साध्वी प्रज्ञा को भोपाल से कैंडिडेट बना गया था बीजेपी का लड़ने के लिए लोकसभा इलेक्शंस में, तभी राहुल गांधी ने उनको आतंकवादी कहलाया था। इसके बारे में क्या कहेंगे? क्योंकि जब भी अभी
उन्होंने जिन्होंने आतंकवादी कहा था, भगवान आतंकवाद कहा था, ये सब लोगों के मुंह पर एक बहुत बड़ा तमाचा कोर्ट ने लगाया है। तो इसलिए उन्होंने, जिन्होंने अपमान किया था आतंकवादी कहकर, उनको माफी मांगनी चाहिए।
बिल्कुल। और एकनाथ शिंदे जी, अभी जब राहुल गांधी को सीधा एक सवाल पूछा गया कि मालेगांव के एक्विटल के बारे में आप क्या कहेंगे, वो पत्रकारों को कह रहे हैं कि आप दूसरे इशू पे बात कीजिए, ट्रंप के इशू पे बात कीजिए। सीधा सवाल का जवाब नहीं दे रहे थे वो।
हाँ, तो उनके पास जवाब नहीं है ना, क्योंकि उन्होंने जब हिंदुत्व को और हिंदू को और देशभक्तों को अपमानित किया था, भगवे को अपमानित किया था, और ये जो पूरा जो घटनाएं हैं उसको ट्विस्ट करने का काम किया था, उनको लोगों का ध्यान दूसरी तरह डाइवर्ट करने का काम किया था, और इसलिए उनके पास कोई जवाब नहीं है। इसलिए जवाब देना चाहिए। जो आतंकवाद शब्द उन्होंने कहा है उस वक्त, भगवा आतंकवाद, इसका जवाब देना चाहिए या माफी मांगनी चाहिए।
एक आखिरी सवाल सर आपसे, केवल मालेगांव 2008 केस ही नहीं, 2006 का जो मालेगांव ब्लास्ट हुआ था, वो समझौता में जो ब्लास्ट हुआ थे, वो उन सारे केसों में हिंदुओं को दोषी कहलाया गया यूपीए सरकार द्वारा। देयर हैज बीन नो फॉलो अप टू दैट इन टर्म्स ऑफ ऑल द एक्विटल्स दैट हैव बीन मेड, बट आई बिलीव we've lost the line with Mr. Shinde. Let me in fact go across to Mr. Ratan Sharda once again. Mr. Sharda, it's not just confined to the 2008 Malegaon case in which the acquittals have now come. Whether it's the Samjhauta blasts, whether it's the 2006 Malegaon blasts, where 9 Muslim accused had first been named as the accused, they were all acquitted. Subsequently, several Hindus were made the accused in that particular case. That case went nowhere. The Mecca Masjid blast as well. So it's a series of cases where there was an attempt to in fact have Hindus being named as accused, and they've all resulted in acquittals.
I have mentioned about this since morning that if you see that saffron terror didn't come in a day. The people who said we have evidence, we have proved that RSS trains in terror, where was evidence? They were in the control of total governance for 10 years. Was anything happening? As I explained, 2004, Godhra train, inquiry was set up, the burning of Godhra train, and retired justice said it was a fire started from inside, right? Then we have Nishrat Jahan, who was killed in an encounter. She was wound up as a accused, a terror associate by the organization itself. She was said to be Bihar ki beti, and Amit Shah was put in jail for encounter of a gun runner, and who suffered ignominy, jail, ouster from Gujarat. At this Samjhauta Express, where the case was totally turned around, when though in spite of Pakistan had seen, USA clearly saying that this was by ISI conspiracy, and the CME chief himself admitting to this terror, but still the news story has created, which is the government which has 2 investigative agencies sending 2 parallel cases in the court of law. This was a joke. It was a joke on the people, both the victims as well as the terrorists. So can you have a government where you create this kind of anomaly? And remember the communal violence day by Sonia Gandhi's team, where they said any riot will be a priori against the Hindu community, and they must claim responsibility. And if there is an allegation of wrongdoing, the person, without knowing who put the charge, will have to prove himself innocent. Have you seen such a ridicule of the rule of law? You have not seen. Then of course 2611, RSS ki Sajish, the book was already ready. In a month the book was created, written, published by the great secular people, and nobody has any shame, nobody apologizes for that. And then you have this Malegaon case, where a case was put up, then it was gone. Mr. Colonel Purohit was in jail for 9 years without a charge sheet. somebody has to have shame, apologize to these people whose lives were destroyed, careers are destroyed, and they must apologize to the victims of terror who let go the real terrorists and create a story that will help somebody get some votes.
Absolutely. Mr. Atikur Rahman, he's been raising his hand for a while, Mr. Sharda. Let me just go to him. Mr. Atikur Rahman, the tragedy of all of this is that innocent people who've now been acquitted have had to spend a huge amount of time in jail. And at the end of it all, there's no justice for those 6 people who died in Malegaon as well in 2008. We still don't know who killed them because all these people have now been acquitted and they've managed to prove their innocence in a court of law. So we're back to square one.
Very true, very true. The larger question I pinpointed sometime earlier that who did it should be addressed. But one important factor in the whole argument of this verdict is look at the hypocrisy looming large. When you are asking the right-wingers about this verdict, they are completely stamping it that this is a rightful verdict. And 3 days back, they went, you and cry, made a hue and cry appealing to the Supreme Court against the train blast because they were Muslims. So the judge rightly said that terror has no religion, but the right-wingers like Mr. Ratan Shardaji, with due respect to him, never acknowledged this fact that terror has no religion. And mind you, this is not the last court of appeal. So far, the victims and their survivors do not get justice. The case goes on and these people are guilty and they should be held responsible because the important factor again is the people went hostile. The witnesses went hostile. Why? Because they were threatened. They were intimidated by the right-wingers.
So how do we know that they were intimidated by the right-wingers? Now, that's a presumption that you're making. They could have even been coerced to give wrong confessions when the initial investigations into these matters began. So I'm not willing to jump to those conclusions right now, sir, because what you said is premature. Yes, 34 witnesses went hostile in this particular case, but under what circumstances was the initial confession extracted from them? That also is in the realm of investigation. We need to wait and see. But before we come back to Ratan Sharda for his response to what Mr. Atikur Rahman has said, let's in fact listen into a lot of the political reactions that have poured in after, of course, the acquittals were announced.
I see it now. I don't know how to express whether I'm happy or sad. Sad because she was my colleague, she was member of parliament, and she was almost paralyzed, like you can say the vegetable. Now after 17 years, what she's gone through, what other so-called accused, with now they are free, but what they must have gone through, their family must have suffered, their children must have suffered, their locality to everything, and been called Bhagwa Atanki, Bhagwa terrorist, Bhagwa. This was so sad. Now today I want to know the Congress what they are going to answer. All those senior leaders who are accusing कि ना they are भगवा आतंकी हैं, भाजपाई भगवा आतंकी हैं, संघी भगवा आतंकी है, अब वो लोग जवाब दें.
So those were some reactions coming in. We urge Mr. Ratan Sharda as well as Mr. Atikur Rahman to stay with us. We'll continue our coverage of this on the other side of this very short break. Stay tuned.